Hello and welcome. In this video we are going to look at chapter number 2, which is residence. Now so far we have been looking at the income tax pro forma. So we have calculated, first we listed down the income sources on very left side of the income tax pro forma. So employment income, property income, and etc, etc. After doing that, we have calculated our income tax liability. So that is the amount that we have to pay to HMRC. Now we know that how to calculate the income tax liability, but we don't know, what we don't know is that who shall pay tax at all. Now if I am living in Dubai, say for example, will I have to pay any UK tax? Say for example, if you live somewhere in Malaysia and you have some income, will you be, will you have to pay tax in the UK? Now that is questionable. Now for that, in order to understand that, we will have to move to our chapter number 2, that is residence. Alright, now I will just go ahead and share the screen with you without wasting further time so that we can look at this chapter number 2. Alright, you can download the lecture notes as well, so it is page number 5 of lecture notes, as you can see on your screen. Page 5 of ACCA F6 lecture notes. Now as you can see on your screen, it says the residence. Now residence means simply living somewhere. If I'm living in the UK, I am UK resident. If you're living in India, you are resident in India. Right? Likewise, wherever you are living, you are resident there in that specific country. Now for tax purposes, HMRC says that if you are resident in the UK, then you will have to pay tax. Now what does HMRC tells us about the residence? That is a certain criteria. Now who is resident in the UK? If I go to the UK for, say for example, 1 week, will I be UK resident? If I spend 2 months there, will I be UK resident? So how will we know that someone is UK resident? Now there is a criteria. We will just read the notes. A person, as you can see on your screen, a person is liable to UK tax if he is resident in the UK for a given tax year. Now if you are a resident in the UK for a given tax year, then you will have to pay tax. Now to define whether a person is resident in the UK or not in a particular tax year, following rules apply. Now first one, automatic non-resident test. Now if any of these tests apply, these are 3 tests, if any of these tests apply, it means that you are not resident. You are automatically not resident. No need to think about it further. Alright? Any of the following applies, you are not resident, so you will not have to pay any tax at all. Now what are these tests? First one says if you are in the UK for less than 16 days, then you are not UK resident. As simple as that. So if you spend 16 days or less than that, then you will be automatically non-UK resident. The second test says that if you spend less than 46 days in the UK and you have been non-UK resident previously as well, so in the previous 3 tax years, then you will be automatically non-UK resident. Now hang on, what is the difference between this one and the previous one? In the previous one it says that 16 days, if you spend less than 16 days, but it does not tell us anything about the previous status of the previous years. Whereas in the second test it says if you have spent less than 46 days in the tax year and you have not been UK resident in the previous 3 tax years, only then you will be automatically non-UK resident. Alright? And the third test says a person who works full-time overseas, subject to them not being in the UK for more than 90 days, will also be automatically non-UK resident. Now say for example, if you work in Dubai and you only go to UK for less than 90 days, you will be automatically non-UK resident. And your job in the UK and your job in Dubai is full-time. Alright, so if you work full-time overseas, overseas means not in the UK. Alright. The second tests are automatic resident tests. Now these are the tests. If any of these tests applies to you, it means that you will be automatically a UK resident. Alright? Now what are these tests? A person who is in the UK for 183 days in a tax year will be automatically UK resident. Now 183 days roughly means 6 months. So if you spend 183 days in the tax year, you will be automatically UK resident. Now when I say roughly 6 months, please make sure you do not write this in the exam. The exam knowledge is exactly 183 days. So if you spend 183 days in the tax year, then you will be automatically UK resident. The second test is your only home is in the UK, and the last test is a person who carries out full-time work in the UK. So if your only home is in the UK and nowhere anywhere in the world, then you will be automatically UK resident. And if you carry out full-time employment in the UK, then also you will be considered as a UK resident, and you will have to pay UK tax. Right? Now, if you are automatically UK resident, you will have to pay tax, UK tax. If you are automatically non-UK resident, then you will not have to pay any tax. Now say for example, if both of automatic resident test and automatic non-resident test, if both these tests does not apply, what would happen then? Now you might be thinking, it can't happen. It can't happen that both of these tests will not apply. Well, this can happen because say for example, automatic UK resident test tells us if you spend 183 days, you are UK resident. Automatic non-resident test tells us if you spend 46 days or less than that, then you will be automatic non-resident test. You will be automatic non-resident. What about 100 days? If I spend 100 days in a tax year, will I be a UK resident or not? No, these automatic tests does not tell us anything about 100 days. It does not tell us anything about 150 days. So what would happen then? Is there any further tests? Yes, there are. Now there is another test which is known as sufficient ties test or UK ties test, sometimes known as sufficient ties tests. Now if anyone who does not come under the automatic UK resident tests and automatic non-UK resident, automatic UK resident test and automatic non-UK resident test, so anyone who does not fall in either of these criteria, then they will have to see UK ties test. Now say for example, if I've given you an example of myself, if I spend 100 days in a tax year, then will I be UK resident or not? Now in that case, I will have to see how many connections, how many ties I have with the UK. Now ties simply means connection. Now if I have a family member in the UK, that is one tie. Now if I have a house in the UK which I made use of, then that is another tie. The third tie is doing substantial work in the UK. Now what substantial work means, that 40 days or more and 3 hours a day, that is substantial work. Now if I do substantial work in the UK, that is another tie. Now being in the UK for more than 90 days during either of the previous 2 tax years, not current tax year, but either of the previous 2 tax years, you have spent 90 days or more, that is a tie as well. And the last tie is spending more time in the UK than in any other country in the tax year. And if you spend more time in the UK than in any other country in the world, then you will also have another tie. Now altogether these are 5 ties. Now unfortunately you will have to remember this, you will have to memorize these 5 ties. These are very, very important as far as exam is concerned, so you will definitely see one of these tests in the exam. Not only tie, but resident test overall. Alright? Now although you will have to memorize these tests, memorize these ties, but what you do not need to memorize is the table beneath that. The table which you can see, which says days in the UK, previously resident, not previously resident. Now this table will be given to you in the exam, so you do not have to memorize this table. But what does this table tells us? Now altogether there are 5 ties, but how would we know that how many ties I need to be considered as UK resident? Now this table tells us. Now it says days in the UK. Now if you spend less than 16 days, we have studied, we have read in our automatic UK non-resident test that if you spend less than 16 days, then you will be automatically non-resident. Now it tells us if you spend less than 16 days, automatically non-resident. Even if you are previously resident or not, it does not matter. You spend less than 16 days, you will be automatically non-resident. Now see the last one, which says 183 days or more. Now if you spend 183 days or more, we have studied in our automatic resident test that we will be automatically resident if you spend 183 days. Now if you are previously resident or not, it does not matter anyway. Now let's look at the second one, which says 16 to 45 days. Now this is important. Now if you spend 16 to 45 days and if you have not been previously resident, you will be automatically non-resident. Automatically non-resident. It is 16 to 45 days. Remember, a second automatic non-resident test was that if you spend 46 days or less in the UK and you have not been previously UK resident, then you will be automatically non-UK resident. However, if you are previously resident in the UK and you spend 16 to 45 days, then you will be considered as UK resident if you have 4 UK ties. 4 UK ties. Now the more days you spend in the UK, less ties you need in order to be considered as UK resident. Alright, I will revise again. More days you spend in the UK, you are more likely to be considered as UK resident, so you will need less ties. Say for example, if you spend 183 days, you are automatically non-resident. You spend 121 days to 182 days, you only need one single tie in order to be considered as UK resident. If you spend 91 to 120 days, you need two UK ties if you were not previously resident. However, you will need 3 UK ties if you were you will need 2 UK ties if you are previously resident, and you will need 3 UK ties if you are not previously resident. Alright, now no need to memorize this table. This will be given to you in the exam anyway. Even I don't remember this, so you don't need to memorize this table. Alright, this will be given to you in the exam. Now that is end of our chapter. We have concluded our chapter of resident. Now I will just show you a simple question. I will just open up practice and revision kit. Now if you have BPP exam kit, please come to question number 33 of the exam kit. I will go through the BPP exam kit, and I want you to buy it as well, because we will use BPP exam kit during our lectures. Now on question number 33, please make sure you just pause the video and read this question and try to give me the answer. What is the answer of question number 33, which you can see on your screen as well? Let's read the question now together. It says, which of the following taxpayers in the UK, is UK resident for the tax year 16-17 on the basis of the information given? Now the following information is given for 2 tax years. Now he wants us to tell him that which of these is a UK resident. The first one is Susie, which was previously UK resident. Now she was previously UK resident, it is an information. And then it's she's present in the UK from 6th of April to 5th of December 2016. 6th of April to 5th of December. So how many months? April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. So these are May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. So these are about 8 months, aren't they? So more than 6 months, so more than 183 days. So no need to consider that whether she was previously resident in the UK or not. She is automatically UK resident because she has spent more than 183 days. Alright, so if she spent more than 183 days, she will be automatically UK resident. So Susie is UK resident, we know that. Let's look at Miles. Excuse me. Now Miles, not previously UK resident, is present in the UK from 6th of April to 5th of May 2016. So he has spent about 30 days in the UK, and he was not previously UK resident. Excuse me. Now look at this table. Now he has spent 30 days, so these are 16 to 45 days. He has spent 16 to 45 days, and he was not previously resident. What you can tell me from the table which will be given to you in the exam. Now look at this table which is given to you in the exam, which you can check on your notes just at the end of page number 6 of the notes. Look at that table and tell me if Mile is UK resident or not. Now he was not previously UK resident, but he spent 30 days in the tax year, so he will come under the 16 to 45 row. So he spent 16 to 45 days in the tax year. He was not previously resident, so he is automatically non-UK resident, which tells us, which proves that only Susie is resident in the UK. So only one only. So it will be answer option number B. Right? So that was a question which was relevant to our chapter today. Actually do the question number 34 as well. Please stop the video and try to do question number 34 as well. It is relevant to income tax as well. So it is very easy question, I think. Please have a go at question number 34 as well while you pause the video. Let's look at question number 34 now. In the tax year 16-17, whatever her name is, has taxable income after deduction of his personal allowance consisting of £3,000 of non-savings income and 12,500 of savings income. What is Claudio's income tax liability for tax year 16-17? So £3,000 worth of non-savings income and 12,500 of savings income. Now £3,000 of non-savings income will be taxable at the rate of 20%, which means £600, and then 12,500 of the savings income. Out of 12,500, because it is she is basic rate taxpayer, so she will get £1,000 worth of nil rate band as well, and she will also get £2,000 of starting rate band, because we only got £3,000 worth of non-savings income, right? So out of 12,500 savings income, 2,000 will be covered by the starting rate band and 1,000 will be covered by the nil rate band. So only she will have to pay tax at the £9,500 of £9,500 of savings income. All right. So 9,500, excuse me, 9,500 at the rate of 20%. Let me do the calculator. So if we do £9,500 at the rate of 20%, it comes to £1,900 plus £600 of non-savings income tax. So altogether £2,500. Is there an option with 2,500? Yes, there is. Option number A, please. So that is option number A, question number 34. All right. Now, if you have the exam kit, I assume that you have the exam kit with you. Please go back at the end of the exam kit and you can recheck the answers. All right. And if you find a different answer, you can just post the question just beneath this video in the comment section, and you know, either I will or my assistant will answer it. All right, that's it for this video, and we've finished our chapter number 2, and I will see you in the next video with the next chapter. Thank you very much and goodbye.